Well then folks, how you doing? It's James, JT at the movies. I hope you're all keeping well, and this is going to be my October pickups video. So it's going to be DVDs and Blu-rays this time, no 4Ks. And I've been thinking about the whole 4K thing actually before we jump into going through the pickups. I'd really love your input actually down below. Like with 4K for me, I don't know if it's worth the money. And like I've got a fair few 4K discs now, sort of, nothing compared to DVD or Blu-ray. But I've probably got 30, maybe 40 4K discs in the collection now. So I've got a good old sample size. And whilst I can't deny that the quality is absolutely fantastic, the jump for me from Blu-ray to 4K, I haven't been sort of overly impressed with that many discs. To the point where I've gone, wow, that's really a jump compared to the Blu-ray. And especially when with a lot of them you can compare them, and they come with the Blu-ray, you can put them in, and sort of the difference for me is sort of has been negligible. And I've had a friend of mine who's a real sort of TV and cinema whiz, and he's really into his gaming and his movies and stuff, and we have movie nights and stuff. I've had him have a look at my setup and make sure that it's all sort of configured right for 4K. And he's said, yeah, it's absolutely, sort of optimum settings for it. So what you're getting out of it is as good as 4K is going to look on your TV. Arguably it's a budget TV. It was only about £400 or something like that was the TV that I'm using currently. So a better TV would probably yield better results. But what I'm thinking, I suppose what I'm saying is that I'm not going to be actively sort of collecting 4Ks, I don't think, going forward, unless it's something like really special that I want. Like I picked up the indie steelbooks, didn't I? And say for argument's sake, if James Cameron drops The Abyss on 4K, I'll get that day one sort of. So I suppose it's going to be things like that. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to address that. Has anybody got any sort of thoughts on that, or any advice on what I could do to sort of if there's anything I'm sort of missing, or any settings that you recommend that you try, or anything like that? I suppose, yeah, get involved in the comments down below, I suppose, is what I'm going to say. But let's jump into what you actually came to see today, which is the DVD and the Blu-ray update. So as always, I'll start with my DVDs, and I'll work my way up to Blu-rays, and then show you the handful of boutique Blu-rays that I've got at the end. So without further ado, the first one that I picked up was from Asda. They've picked up the Music Magpie second-hand DVD contract that Poundland seemed to be doing beforehand. I didn't have this title and fancied giving it a watch. I've yet to do so, but we'll be watching it fairly soon. I'm not expecting much for Triple X, The Return of Xander Cage. Saw this one in the cinema and absolutely loved it. Really had a great time with this one. Surprised I didn't actually watch it this Halloween season, but it won't be long before it goes on again. And that is The Black Phone. Gosford Park. Was really happy to get this one. I've been looking for it for a while, and it's not one that I normally sort of come across in the wild, as it were. But it's one of the adaptations from the Stephen King novella Different Seasons, which folks might know is where the stories of Stand By Me and The Shawshank Redemption also come from. This is one of the other stories in that book, and that's Apt Pupil. The fourth story, which the title escapes me at the moment, is yet to be adapted, but it's been in sort of like development hell since 2018. So you never know, we might see that soon. This next one's a straight to DVD job with Pierce Brosnan in the leading role, which is what sold me on it, because obviously I'm a James Bond nut, and I'll watch anything that those Bond lads put out. This one is Survivor. I watched Kyle MacLachlan's Criterion Closet Picks, and he talked about an experience that he had where he worked with Anthony Hopkins on a film in the early 90s. And him just talking about that experience sort of made me want to sort of seek out what they'd done and give it a watch, because I just thought those two actors together has got to be something special. I've not yet watched the film, but I'm looking forward to watching The Trial. Apologies if you're getting some glare on this today, folks. I don't know if I've got the lighting 100% right, but hopefully you can see what I'm showing you all the same. The next one is one that I picked up purely for the lead actress in it. I enjoy pretty much everything I've seen her in since I first saw her in, I think it was Zero Dark 30 was the introduction to this lady, and that's Jessica Chastain in Miss Sloane. Picked this one up just yesterday. Again, I'll pretty much watch this chap in anything that he puts out, especially his action films, which is where I really enjoy him. I'm not as bothered for the rom-coms that he's done. But this is Gerard Butler in Last Seen Alive. Picked this up after watching a 24-hour movie marathon video on YouTube, a chap called Nathan, who I think actually I'm following, and he follows me on Instagram. I don't know if we're connected on YouTube or not, but I watched his 24-hour movie marathon from this year, and one of the films that he watched was That Thing That You Do. And I've seen people talking about this film over the last year or so, because I think the actors that were in the film got back together and did a reunion performance of the song. And obviously it's a music film about a band coming together, and as I'm sure regular viewers will know, I'm a keen musician, so I love my music films. This next one, Laura won me on a tombola at the local church, where she's a bell ringer, is Laura, and is really good at it as well. And she went to go and help out at a fundraiser that they were doing, and she won this and said, "Oh well, I know you like your sort of your classic comedy, and we quite often make jokes." Quoting this particular comedian, so that is Les Dawson, Master of Comedy. So I think this is an ITV documentary sort of / clip show of some of his best work. So swiftly moving on, this is a director that I've already mentioned once in this video, but I'm keen to pick up everything that he's done on physical media. This was one of the documentaries that he made in between making Titanic and releasing Avatar in 2009, and that is Aliens of the Deep. Now you will have to forgive that glare, folks. Really looking forward to watching that one soon. I've not so long since watched Ghosts of the Abyss, which I've had in the collection for the longest time, and I love that. And I do find the story of the Titanic to be fascinating, and I do like the James Cameron film. Really enjoy that, and obviously love him as a filmmaker. So anything that he's involved in, I'll give a watch at least once. This next one, I've seen a lot of people talking about on social media and on the YouTube community side of things, and it sort of piqued my interest. It's not normally the sort of thing that I'd go for. It's quite adult in nature, but I'm intrigued to watch Pleasure. Another Jim Cameron one here. I don't know whether this is one that he directed, but he's certainly involved in it, and his name's above the door, as it were. That is Deep Sea Challenge. Picked this one up in the local charity shop. I say local to where I work, not where I live. But it's a classic Hitchcock one that I didn't already have in the collection. And since me and Laura are planning on doing an Alfred Hitchcock / James Stewart marathon over the Christmas and New Year period this year, I thought that it'd be a good one to add to the collection, and that is The Lady Vanishes. I'm really excited to see this next one, and it literally just came in the post today, and I really am excited to see it. It's been out for probably a couple of years as the film now, but we've not had it on streaming or any sort of physical media until literally this week when it got released. And I was that curious to see it that I nearly last year imported it from Europe for 40 quid for the Blu-ray, and as you'll probably know with me and the fact that I collect DVDs and I like to sort of collect as affordable as possible, I just couldn't bring myself to pull the trigger on 40 notes for one film. It just went against how I collect. So I held fire on it, and I'm really glad that I did, because I managed to get for £6 on Amazon The Deep House. I'm going to be watching this one this week. The trailer and the premise really sold me. I know it's a straight-to-video horror movie. It's probably not going to be all that, but I'm still all the same looking forward to watching it. And then the inspiration for this one, which is another one that also turned up in today's post, was TikTok, believe it or not. And there was a scene from this film with Denzel Washington, who's the lead in it, and he was giving a rousing speech. I think he's in a classroom or whatever, and it looks to be a bit of a legal thriller. And I'm surprised that the film's passed me by, to be right honest. But that is Denzel Washington in Roman J. Israel Esquire. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching this one, and I'll probably be talking about this one on What I've Been Watching episode fairly soon, I should think. So that's all the DVDs, folks. We've flown through them compared to normal. Anyway, we'd normally be 20 minutes, half an hour in at this point with the rate I like to yap to you. But let's move into some Blu-rays, shall we? The first one's another one from Asda on this Music Magpie thing. And my disc, my old DVD copy, was one that I sort of picked up second-hand years ago. And it wasn't the cleanest disc back when I sort of was, should we say, less particular about how I collected, whereas now I won't buy anything if it's scratched, whereas before I'd maybe take a chance if it was a little bit scuffed, you know, sort of chance the odds. So I've been looking to replace it for a while, but never come across it in the wild. And it's not a film that I'd seek out on Amazon anyway, but this is Hannibal Rising, and that's on Blu-ray, so really happy to have that. And I'm probably going to have a watch through of the 5 Hannibal films, actually. So I picked up Manhunter last month, you might remember. And then I thought to myself, well, I've got Hannibal Rising on Blu-ray, I've got Manhunter on Blu-ray. I did have Silence of the Lambs already on Blu-ray, but I've given that away because I picked up the Hannibal Lecter trilogy, which has got the 3 main films starring Anthony Hopkins in, Red Dragon, Silence, and Hannibal. So yeah, really looking forward to watching these again. Red Dragon and Silence of the Lambs in particular are 2 of my favourite thrillers of the 90s and really of all time, so excited to see that. I'm holding fire on watching the next one until such a time as my lovely dear granddad comes round for a bit of tea, and you know, hopefully in the coming weeks we'll do that and get the family together. We said we were going to go to the cinema and watch this one, and as it often does, life just got in the way, and we missed it. So I've picked up the Blu-ray, but I'm not going to watch it until I sit down and watch it with Grandad, and that is Elvis. So this next one's an upgrade for me. A few weeks ago, towards the beginning of the month, I had Phil over, and I've been rewatching Wes Anderson's work, and we decided that we were going to watch The Grand Budapest Hotel, which at the time I had on DVD, and I enjoyed it so much on rewatch that I literally jumped onto Amazon afterwards and decided, yep, that needs a Blu-ray in the collection. The next one is another Wes Anderson one, and it's one that I again had on DVD and decided, because it would literally be the only one I had on DVD at that point, that I should upgrade it to Blu-ray. So I picked up Fantastic Mr. Fox. Really enjoyed this one when it came out, but haven't seen it since, so we'll have to rewatch it soon. The next one is the latest entry into the MCU. I'm really not too keen on these slimline cases that Marvel and Disney have been popping out, but all the same, I'm happy to have in the collection Thor: Love and Thunder. Another upgrade for me, I decided I'd pick up the sequel to Wall Street. Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps. That was in a charity shop for £1, so I couldn't say no. This one I'm surprised that I've not watched sooner, given how much of a Batman fan that I am. And that is Batman and Superman, Battle of the Super Sons. So it's obviously something where Damian and... I forget, is it John Kent, Superman's son? But obviously Superboy and Robin are going sort of lead in this one. So I'm looking forward to watching that one through. And I've really enjoyed everything that DC's been putting out of late. They really are, at least in the animated world, knocking it out of the park. The next one's one that I'm looking forward to seeing really soon. I'll probably watch this one night this week, actually. And it's one, again, that passed me by in the cinemas. And that is Brad Pitt in Bullet Train. When I was picking up Bullet Train on HMV, they had the, you know, sort of, you get this discounted if you're buying it with your purchase thing. And it's one of these sort of, I think, is it Japanese or Chinese edition steelbooks that they're doing of like 80s movies. And it was the cast that sold me on this, James Woods and Michael J. Fox. And that is The Hard Way. The last regular Blu-ray I've got to show you, I think, is going to be the one that's in everybody's Blu-ray updates for me. And going back to the beginning of the video and my debate on 4K, this was really the one where I was sort of thinking about it. Do I want to spend the extra £10 on it? And I thought to myself, no, do you know what, for me, the Blu-ray will be enough. But anyway, the film was probably my favourite new release of the year. Absolutely had the best time at the cinema with this. Really, absolutely fantastic stuff. And I can't wait to watch it again. It is Top Gun Maverick. So those are all the regular Blu-rays that I've got, and I've just got a very small handful of some boutique Blu-rays to show you. The first is a box set, and Pete over at Playtendo Guy, I saw him get this in one of his updates and realised that the price had been dropped quite significantly, and I thought, well, before they sell out, I'm going to get them, because I really enjoy the first 2 films in this series. I've never seen 3 and 4. I've still not seen 4, but I watched 3 the other night and good lord, it was atrocious. But more on that in the next what I've been watching. But this is the Anaconda box set from 88 Films, and I love these box sets that they do. They're so well made, you know, really sturdy card, and you get posters with them, and then, you know, see the great Blu-rays and stuff like that. It's really, really good value for money. This one only 15 quid. So at that, it were an absolute steal. Obviously came with a J card, but that's come off as they do, so I've just got that to one side. The next one's an Arrow one. I picked this up in Trade Me in Leeds. Again, it's that shop that runs a similar sort of operation to CEX, but they're independent, and I like sort of supporting them and buying something from them when I can, when I'm in town. So I picked up this Arrow title, and that is Peter Cushing's Hound of the Baskervilles. I'm so excited to finally have this next one released from Eureka and have a proper copy to go along with the first two films in the series. For years, the only copy I've had of this is the Spanish. It's probably a grey release. I don't know whether it's an official release or not. Say it's probably a grey release, but for years I've only had that Spanish release. But this is Police Story 3 Super Cop, and I'm really, really happy to finally have this in the collection in an edition that's worthwhile of the film. The next one that I've included in this section because it's been released from 101 Films, who obviously primarily are a boutique label. To be fair, I probably should be putting this film in the bin because it's absolute trash. I mean, real shite. Really, really bad stuff, folks. But I'm a completist, and For My Sins, the original one, and its first sequel at least, are two of my favourite horror movies. So I had to pick up Jeepers Creepers Reborn just to see what was going on. I really wish I hadn't seen this. I really wish they hadn't made it. One absolutely atrocious film. Really just appalling stuff. We move now back on to Mr. Wes Anderson, and there was a Criterion sale towards the beginning of the month, and I thought, well, now's the perfect time to complete my Wes Anderson collection. I didn't have this film. I've not yet watched it. It's one of the few that I've still left to watch. I've been, like I say, working my way through those films in October, and when I finally finished them all and gathered my thoughts, I'm going to do a bit of a retrospective. I think maybe it might be a two-parter so that I can talk in enough detail. But anyway, this was the last piece of the puzzle, and that was Rushmore. And then the final film that I've got to show you is another Criterion release, and it was the cast that sold me on this one. And again, like I mentioned earlier in the video, it was one of the films that the chap Nathan was watching in his 24-hour movie marathon, and he really sold me on it. And so it was one of them where I finished his YouTube video and then was straight onto Amazon and ordering it for myself. Do you know, it's you guys probably have this as well. It's really dangerous, isn't it, being subscribed to great YouTubers and, you know, folk who've got such a knowledge and a passion for films, because you hear them talking about films that you've never heard of before, never seen, and the next thing you know, they're in your shopping cart and you're spending money like it's going out of fashion, and you end up dedicating a room in your house to a movie collection like this. But enough of that. We all know what it's like to collect movies. This is Defending Your Life, which I've yet to sit down and watch, but the fact that it's Meryl Streep and that it's Albert Brooks is all I needed to know. So I'm really happy to add that to my Criterion collection. And with that, folks, that is my October DVD and Blu-ray update for you. Like I say, no 4Ks. I'm really sort of weighing up at the moment whether or not I'm gonna sort of actively continue collecting 4Ks or not. And I would be interested to hear your thoughts on that down below. Of course, I would love to hear your thoughts on the pickups. Is there anything in this pile that I need to be getting to straight away? Or are there any recommendations that you've got for pickups based on what I've picked up here? Let me know in those comments down below. I love to get involved in the comments with you folks. If you have also liked the video, drop it that thumbs up, because it lets me and it lets YouTube know that you've liked the video, and obviously it lets me keep making more videos like this, and lets people like yourself see them. If you're not already subscribed to the channel as well, if this is the first time that you see me, hello, nice to meet you firstly, but please consider subscribing to the channel. I'd love to keep you around for future videos. Of course, it helps the channel to grow, but it means I get to know you better over future videos as well. Above all else, folks, take care of yourselves, and I look forward to seeing you again really soon for my next video. Bye for now.